Hello, my name is Aidan and welcome to another Golf Predictor video tutorial. In this video I shall be talking about one of the more advanced features on Golf Predictor, namely the round performance analysis functionality. To do that, we will go to the form menu and click on one of the round performance analysis options on the menu. The analysis for each round is similar, so for illustration purposes we will use the round 3 performance analysis. So click on that link, and if you do so, you'll be brought to the following page, which as usual I have preloaded on another tab. This functionality is designed for fantasy golfers who have to make substitutions during a tournament, or for gamblers who like to bet during a tournament. So what does this page actually do? Well, the first thing it does is it looks at the current tournament, which in this case is the US PGA Championship, which is of course a major, and it then looks in the database for all similar tournaments, i.e. majors, in the current year and the previous 5 years combined. It then goes through each of these tournaments for each golfer in the field and computes how that golfer did in those tournaments while in certain positions after round 3. So we now look at the data table below to illustrate this. Here you can see the entire field listed by GP rank and a number of columns after their names. As usual, if you hover over the golfer's first name, you see some related information. In this case, it tells you how many similar tournaments were found and how many didn't count for the analysis. Because, for example, if you miss the cut, you won't have any round 3 positions to analyze. I should also point out at this stage is that some golfers will not have any similar tournament experience, i.e. this will be their first major, or it might be their second. And if Golf Predictor finds that the player has less than 3 matching similar tournaments, then all tournament history will be used. So in the case of no similar tournament history, i.e. major history in this case, then the golfer's record in all tournaments will be used as a backup. Okay. So looking at these columns, the first 2 columns relate to how the golfer did after he was leading after round 3. The second 2 columns relate to how the golfer did once he was in the top 5, but not counting top position, so from positions 2 to 5. The next 2 columns are when he was in positions 6 to 10, and the next 2 columns when he was in positions 11 to 20, and the next 2 when he was in positions 21 to 40, and the last one when he was outside the top 40. And the first of the columns show you his average finishing position, and the second of the columns in each case show you the number of tournaments that were found that matched this scenario. So for example, you can see there that Rory McIlroy led 5 tournaments after round 3, 5 similar tournaments I should say, or 5 majors, and his average finishing position was 3.8, which was quite good. And we look at his page in a second and we can see how he is in fact a very good front runner. So there are a number of things you can do on this data table that you can do on other similar ones. You can sort by any of the columns to see who has got the most tournaments played or who has got the best average and so forth. And you can also look at a few related charts. So for example, if you want to see quickly who did the best while they were leading after round 3, you will click on this chart link. And there you have it, and you can see that 4 golfers have actually won the tournament every time they've led after round 3. So that's quite a good result. However, if you hover over each one of them, you see they've only led once after round 3. For example, American Keimer, Darren Clark, Bubba Watson, and Chesson Hadley. Now wait a minute, you might say that Hadley has never won a major, and you would be right. And the reason he's in this list is because, remember I said, if there are not enough matching similar tournaments, then his history for all tournaments is used. So Chesson Hadley is one such golfer. He has enough majors played, so the system uses his all tournament history. So please be aware of that. Similarly, of the golfers who have led after round 3 of a major more than once, we see that Jordan Spieth, who's got an average of 1.33 from 3 tournaments, has got the best average, and the second best is Fabian Gomez. So again, as in the case of Chesson Hadley, he's another guy that hadn't enough major form, so we have to go by all tournaments. So that's why he figures in this list. Okay, so that's the best one leading after round 3 chart, and we'll finish there. So we'll go back to the data table. So hopefully you're beginning to see how this page can be really useful if you have to make some sort of a decision after round 3 of the US PGA Championship this year. For example, if you have to make an emergency substitute in your fantasy team, or you want to bet on a golfer to win after round 4. Okay, so we'll just look at the data that is available for each golfer in more detail now. So as promised earlier, look first at Rory McIlroy. So if you click on either his first name or his last name, you get to see his data page, which I have preloaded on another tab. Now after a panel with basic details, you can see a detailed round performance analysis for each round, for round 1, 2 and 3, where you can see his average and the number of tournaments played in brackets for each position. So after he was leading, he was 2nd to 5th and so on. That's done for each of the individual rounds, and then underneath it shows the matching tournaments that were used for this analysis. Now for regular tournaments, this list will be very long because there are more regular tournaments obviously every season, but in the case of majors, the most you're going to have is 23, because there are only 4 every year, and if we were using the current season and the 5 previous seasons, the most you can have is 5 times 4 plus if you're on the last major of the year, as we are now, you'll have 3 others from the current season. So that gives a grand total of 23 similar events. And as we all know, Rory McIlroy missed the British Open due to his ruptured ankle ligaments, so therefore he has 22 similar events that we can analyse. So as we said before in the previous page, we said that his average was 3.8 and when he was leading after round 3, so we can drill down to this and see more information about this by looking at the matching tournament list. And again, as usual, if you hover over the tournament name that is hyperlinkable in the table, you will see more information. In this case, it shows you the tournament type, what tour or tours it's on, the dates, the round scores and where it was. And to find out how Rory did on leading after round 3, again for normal tournaments you would have to sort by the round 3 rank, and if you but because there's only 22 tournaments because it's a major, we can actually just look at the table and read them off directly. So this table shows each tournament that was matched the criteria and Rory's position after each round in that tournament. So this makes it really easy to drill down and find what tournaments match each stat up here in the table, or the tables I should say. So now we're looking at when he was leading after round 3, so we have to go to the round 3 rank column, and we see there's 1, there's 2, there's another one, and there's the final 2. And you can see in the 4 of the 5 cases, and we'll just make it more obvious by clicking on the sort link. Again, he missed the cut in the first 4, so I can ignore those. The next 4 are ones where he went on to win, and the only one he hasn't won when he was leading after round 3 is that famous meltdown in the 2011 Masters when he was quite young after all. Remember though, he did bounce back and win the next major, which was a good achievement. So you can see that, not counting his famous meltdown, that Rory is an exceptionally good front runner in majors, and if he is leading after round 3, sore ankle or not, he's a pretty good bet that he will go out and close the tournament. Okay, so that's Rory. So we'll go back to the round 3 performance analysis page and look at another golfer with some interesting stats after round 3. For example, if we go to Henrik Stenson, we see that he has played 19 majors in the last 5 years, 3 of them non-counting because he's missed the cut in them. And we see that while he hasn't led after round 3 in any, he's got a pretty good record for a man that has never won a major when he's been in positions 2 to 5 after round 3. So we see he's been in these positions, a top 5 position, not counting leading, in 4 occasions, and his average is a pretty impressive 3. However, if you look right beside that, you see he's also been in positions 6 to 10 after round 3 of majors in the last 5 years, and his average in that case is 23.25. So that indicates that Henrik would be a very good pick if he is in positions 2 to 5 after round 3 this week, but not a very good pick if he's in positions 6 to 10. So we'll just look at his page to drill down and see the actual results that give us these stats. So I just click on Henrik's first name or surname, and as usual I have preloaded this page on another tab. So again, scrolling down to see the list of tournaments. To make this more obvious, we'll just click on the round 3 rank link. And here we see his position. Again, remember there was the first 4 tournaments, or the 4 matching tournaments, that give us the stat from where he was ranked, what his average result when he's positioned 2nd to 5th after round 3. So you see there, once he's in positions 2 to 5, he's got a very good track record of staying the pace and finishing in the places. However, if you look just underneath that now for the matching tournaments where he's been in positions 6 to 10, you can see the next 4, you see that he's finished 3rd, which is quite good as well, but the rest of the results are pretty poor, including a fairly disastrous 40th place in the Masters there in 2012 and 2 finishes in the 20s. So this gives you the fairly high average that you see there of just over 23 from the 4 tournaments. So you can see at a glance, as I said a few seconds ago, that Henrik would be a very good choice if he's in the top 5 after round 3, but a pretty poor one if his previous results are anything to go by if he's in the top 10 but outside the top 5. Okay, so we'll just go back to the main page to finish off. I hope you can now see how these statistics can really help you when the tournament is ongoing. Note that you must be subscribed to Golf Predictor to see these stats for every golfer in the field. If you're not subscribed, you will be restricted to those golfers ranked 11 to 25 by the Golf Predictor prediction engine. I should also say that these stats are only available for the duration of the tournament, as that's the only time they are really useful. Okay, well that's about it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.